On this episode of the Choose954 podcast. And we are back here on the Choose954 podcast, episode 66, with one of my favorite human beings on this planet, Chloe Ravel, aka the Gemini Rising, our upcoming AAF Creative Zen speaker this Friday morning at General Provision. If you didn't know about Choose954, we started a social movement to cultivate culture and community, keep people in the know with all the great things that are going on in an effort to make this a better place to live and not just a better place to vacation. The point of the podcast is to connect you with interesting people like her to find out more interesting stuff that goes on in the community. And we have a real treat for you this Friday morning, as you're going to find out about. But without much further ado, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself at a high level?
Thank you, Evan. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. It is so awesome to just be in a space like this and a little bit out of my comfort zone and being featured here on a podcast. My name is Chloe Ravel, everyone, and I am a yogi. I'm a meditation teacher as well as a mindset coach, and I'm also a community organizer. I'm really passionate about bringing people together. And that's why I love your brand so much and what's been happening here in Fort Lauderdale. Anyone who's been living here for the last, I've been here for 10 years, but between now and then, like so much transformation has shifted, and just seeing communities come together in these amazing events like on Friday. So thank you for having me there too.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much.
How did you get started in all this crazy world of mindfulness and yoginess that we're a part of now here?
Well, it was truly all meant to be. During my college years, I was dealing with just a lot of stress and just navigating life and looking for a solution to this chronic anxiety that I would just be facing pretty much at every turn and every corner of my life. And luckily one day I was realizing that I was having like just difficulty breathing, as simple as that. I was noticing that I was holding my breath in moments that I was very tense, or that my breath was really rapid when I was highly stressed. And I was mentioning it to my friend, and the reason I say luckily that day, she mentioned like, hey, you want to come to a yoga class with me? And I was like, that's pretty new for me. Never tried that before. Yeah, it was that kind of moment. It was so synchronistic. And I went, and that was the beginning of so much. At that moment, I had no idea what was in store for me in terms of the kind of transformation I would be undergoing over those first 3 years, where it was just like so much about empowering myself, my own thinking, my own tools to self-regulate and to become more aware of my emotions. And just yoga became like just a beautiful daily practice for me that just allowed me to get to know myself better. And then over time, I started to notice like, okay, I know what to do when my breath is really shallow. Yeah, and I know how to prepare myself before an exam or before a podcast with beautiful deep breaths in and out. And then I landed in South Florida a couple years after college and started connecting with the yoga community. And within like months, I was in a teacher training for my own betterment and my own personal development, and I left the teacher training wanting to share this amazing practice with others. So it's been about 8 years of teaching at this point, and the yoga kind of just then developed into my fascination for meditation and that kind of practice, which we talk about all the time, as well as breath work, aromatherapy, sound healing, which I have one of the singing bowls that we'll share with you guys in a little bit later. But truly the world of wellness and getting connected to yourself in a holistic standpoint provides so many resources that I feel like people aren't as tapped into as they can be. And so that's my mission, to just keep spreading awareness about all the holistic ways that we can inform our self-care, taking care of our mind, our body, and ultimately our spirit to live our best life. So I'm stoked to be sharing that with all of you.
And this is very serendipitous and meaningful for me. For those of you that don't know, it was Chloe, my first yoga instructor here at Society Las Olas, that thankfully the universe placed you in this place, although we knew each other from years before in Mass District. And your approach, your warmness, your ease of the flow, your ease of instruction, that me as a novice, as a newbie, was able to gravitate to this vinyasa flow, to this practice, which now has had profound impacts on my life. And now we work together, and Chloe's been coaching me for the last couple months now, which I'm very grateful for. And it's truly something that I could never advocate enough for. I've now kind of become a yoga advocate, and really want to spread these gifts and spread the wellness, which we're going to do this Friday, Creative Zen, which we'll get to. So I'm forever grateful for the impact that you've had on me. But for those that might not maybe know, what is kind of like your why behind this work that you're doing, aside from the feeling of wholeness and the warm feeling that you get inside and better oxidation of your breath, of your blood?
Yes, indeed. Well, first, I'm so happy to see like your own transformation, and I want to say, like, first and foremost, that yoga is for everyone, and there's so many different styles of yoga and different styles of breath work. Ones that can help soothe your nervous systems, and other where you can like hold your breath for a long time. We know the Wim Hof is very popular these days.
Right.
So there's a large scope of different practices that we can tap into, and so that's why I say yoga and meditation is for everyone. It's just a matter of finding the teacher that you resonate with. Yeah.
Yep.
My why is truly connected to my belief that everyone is worthy of living a life of health, of well-being, of abundance, of success. Like, that's really, really important for me, and that was something that was embedded in me in my childhood. And just like, I was so lucky to have an amazing upbringing with parents and grandparents who were always of service to others. Like, that was my example. Like, how do we make the world a better place? How do we make our community a better place? My parents both immigrated to this country in their early life, like before the age of 10. And I think in their receiving so much support and coming to the US from Latin America, they're always about paying it forward. And so that, from a very young point in my life, was just like a belief that I had. And then in growing up and just seeing how many like injustices there were, and like specifically in the healthcare system, if you think about mental health, and now we see a revolution of like finally like the Western approach bringing more awareness about the importance of mental health. But truly growing up for me, like, I was dealing with anxiety issues and watching, you know, my colleagues and people all around me dealing with depression and different sorts of issues with stress-related illnesses, and watching like our traditional medical system not being able to have enough resources to support that. And really easily, we know, being turned to pharmaceuticals. So I was like, there has to be another thing that we can be doing before we get to that point. And that's not to say that, you know, medication isn't needed for all people. Sure. Or like can be needed for certain situations. Sure. And certain people. But looking at alternative ways to take care of our body. And so my why is really connected to spreading awareness that we have more control of our health and well-being that we're typically led to believe. And just educating and sharing that knowledge, because I just felt so grateful when I found yoga meditation. I'm like, whoa, like, this is life-changing. So how do we keep sharing that in a way that's sometimes bite-sized for people? Because not everyone's meant to travel to India for 30 days and be fully immersed. Some people are, and that's great. If you get the opportunity to travel to India or Bali for a teacher training, please do. Sure. But sometimes it's as simple as like, oh, the condo I live at has a free yoga class on Monday night at 7 o'clock. Let me try it out. What's that about? You know, and it doesn't have to be the most rigorous kind of yoga either. You know, it can be enough movement that allows you to connect your breath to the movement and get you into that present moment. So disconnecting from the devices and the phones and all of the things, so that you can just turn your attention inward and nourish in that capacity. because we do live in a very modern world, so that's needed.
We do, and there are plenty of tools and resources that are available. Thankfully, aside from the ones that you've already mentioned, I think this would be a great opportunity to mention our dear friend Dr. Joe Dispenza, who, if you aren't aware, Power of the Mind can heal many things, and we both encourage you to look up Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself and any of his work, YouTube videos. But for those that maybe aren't familiar with just meditation and breath work, sound bowl healing, I'm sure people have seen yoga more or less. Would you be so kind to maybe show us something?
Yeah,
show us a little demonstration?
Sure. So before I play the bowl, meditation, there's so many different ways to meditate, and I mentioned that before, but like, it's a matter of disconnecting from the busyness of your own thinking and your own mind. Allowing the space to be still and still with your thoughts, because you can have a moving meditation because that's what yoga is. But being outside of that framework that's like, okay, at 10 p.m. I'm doing this and tomorrow morning I'm doing this, and allowing that spaciousness to come forth. And for me, meditation was very challenging, as for most people. I would see my guru, my teachers just sit in these meditation seats, and they could sit there for hours, and I'm like, I don't know if that's for me. I don't know if that's ever going to be me, because the nature of my mind is that it's racing all the time. I attributed it to being an Aries or a Gemini Rising sign. I attributed it to being a New Yorker, all the things, when truly I just hadn't tapped into the magic of what it is to still those fluctuations of my mind through a practice like meditation. So yoga was great because it taught me how to breathe and move. And then when I was ready to get into a more serious seated meditation practice, I came across sound bowl therapy. And sound healing is truly amazing, you guys, because you are in the frequency of whatever's being played. So each bowl has a different note that is attuned to. This happens to be C note, which is for our root chakra. So they're also connected to different energy centers in your body. But what's fascinating about the bowls is, from the most simplistic point of view, is that you're able to just focus on what you're hearing, the sensory experience of it all. So you're no longer ruminating on that thought pattern. And I was like, aha, here it is. Maybe I can meditate. If I'm just surrounded by vibrations and frequencies, and we can talk later about how these different frequencies promote different feelings and sensations in your body. I started to notice that later on in research. But from the simple standpoint is I'm no longer focused on my thoughts, and I'm focused on the sound and how it makes me relax into the moment. Okay, so I'll just play this very gently here. If you like, you guys can take a moment of mindfulness too, to just close your eyes perhaps. Take a nice deep breath in and a deep breath out. We'll do that one more time. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. And keeping the eyes closed, just allowing yourself to truly just tune into this frequency and vibration of the singing bowl. And continue just to breathe at a rate that feels natural and good for you, effortless. Just calling this a little break from your day to connect. Okay, here we go. Breathe in, breathe out. Inhale. Exhale. One more time, inhale. Exhale. Allowing your shoulders to relax as you take one final breath here, a little longer. Inhale and exhale. And just blinking your eyes open again and coming back to our lovely podcast.
How much better do you feel?
That's all it takes. Like truly, all it takes. I mean, obviously, I teach classes where I bring all the bowls, and it's a pure like sound experience, and I'll be playing there for 60 minutes, and it feels like, oh my God, that went by so fast, because we need that. We need that opportunity to switch off our nervous system, the electrical system of our body that governs everything that we're doing, into like rest and digest and like chill mode. But you can really benefit from like literally a minute or two of just pausing from your day, tuning in some of my meditations that I'm in the middle of recording to share with all of you guys, with the bowls and all that stuff, or plugging in your favorite YouTube meditator or whoever you're following on Spotify, and just taking that moment to just disconnect, reset, and then get back into everyday living.
Amen. And there's various different ways, as she alluded to. There's Wim Hof breathing, and there's guided meditation, and there's so many different things. And really, it's whatever gives you that feeling, that relief, that stillness. So I encourage, you encourage, both encourage. Haven't explored mindfulness and meditation. Literally, one of the most rewarding things you can do for free, with countless videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, you just sit there, find a place, find some pillows, find some cushions, and you can develop this practice, which I did not have in my life 6 months ago. And I'm forever grateful, because it came at such a great time for me. As you guys know, I have a lot of projects and a lot of things I work on, and it's always go, 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 go. I was doing that for years, and I was starting to get burnt out, or I was already burnt out. And this gift, this practice, this lifestyle, which I've now engulfed and embodied and continually dive into and want to explore as far as it can go, has yielded enormous results for me personally, professionally, emotionally. So I encourage you guys to consider trying meditating, consider developing a practice, try it for a week, try it for a month, try it for however long you can. If you'd like to try it this Friday morning, we encourage you to come to AAF Creative Zen at 8:30 a.m. at General Provisions downtown location. If you didn't know about Creative Zen, we host a monthly breakfast lecture series, a mini TED Talk that we host for free for our creative community every second Friday morning of the month. We've been doing it for 3+ years now. We are very excited to be bringing it back in person. We were doing it obviously on Zoom, online. It's not the same, but we were still trying to pay it forward with the positivity and the inspiration. And for those that don't know, I had my aha moment at a talk very similar to this 5.5 years ago, where I received some insight and inspiration that led me to this journey of discovering the arts and culture, community building, creative entrepreneurship, which is why I still like to pay it back and pay it forward amongst all the other stuff we do. This is one of the most important things to me, to bring in local people in our community, startup founders, yogis, gurus, everybody else in between, coaches, to share that thought-provoking, inspirational, relatable story, because everybody is a human being just like everybody else is a human being. We keep it for free. There'll be coffee, there'll be breakfast bites, there's a networking component to it as well, but it's not like a businessy networking, and you don't have to be creative. Everybody's welcome, everybody's creative. So doors open at 8:30, the talk will start at 9, you'll be out of there by 10. If you need something to tell your boss, I've got a thing on the Facebook event page. You're gaining meaningful inspiration that you will bring back to your work. You're meeting like-minded professionals that you network with, not necessarily that it has to be for a business transaction, but you're connecting with your community. I've met some of my best friends, Carla, some amazing people through Creative Zen. So I'm forever grateful to host them, forever grateful for you to speak. So you guys can join us. It's a free event. We just ask that you RSVP so we have an accurate head count. If they would like to engage with you other ways, what are some other things that people can connect and engage with you on?
Yes. Well, I am starting a group coaching course this fall. It is going to be absolutely amazing, and it's going to combine all of the modalities that I teach in this beautiful fusion of a system that can be applied to your everyday, so that they can, like your amazing testimonial, like really tap into living a life of ease within everything that we're doing in this modern way of living. And so that group coaching course is starting this fall, which I'm happy to share with everybody on Friday, a little bit more information about that. But to follow that journey and sign up and learn a little bit more about my international wellness retreats as well, you can follow me on Instagram. I share a lot of my story and my perspective and my process on that. You can follow me at the Gemini Rising _ and I'm sure you'll tag me in all of the things in between. And also visit my website, you guys, at ChloeRavel.com. Simple as that. And that's where you'll find information about the group coaching, regular yoga class. And if you're really looking to work with me one-on-one, I have a couple spots opening up for the fall as well. If you're looking for a deep dive on how to create more stability in your day, in your everyday with meditation, mindfulness, mindset coaching, sound healing, aromatherapy, yoga, there's so many tools. And so I'm customizing the program based on where my client's at. And that's the beautiful thing. So I'm so excited for Friday.
And I'm so excited. And I'm grateful that you do let me customize what I want to work on. And I've told her I want to work on this. I want to initially start off improving, perfecting my yoga practice, and then exploring deeper realms of mindfulness and meditation. And then thankfully, when the time was right, you implemented Dr. Joe Dispenza, which is a whole mindset shift for me, game changer. And then other things, one-on-one sample healing, which if you thought that was something, imagine a room with 20 of these. Aromatherapy, I wasn't so familiar with essential oils, and you've helped me implement essential oils in a way that has been very therapeutic, very rewarding for me. So I strongly, obviously, encourage and advocate to reach out to this young lady, because you never know. I mean, we all go through our daily lives. We're all kind of going through our own stuff, highs and lows. We all need a little help along the way. I thought that I was grounded and balanced, and I was from listening to TED Talks and going to TED Talks and hosting Creative Zen and being involved in the arts. But this last 6 months, since you helped bring these practices into my life, I don't know what I was doing before. I can't believe I made it this far along without being grounded, without this balance, without this practice, and also not to mention, you guys don't know this, but I was in a car accident. I was about to get spinal surgery, and I'm still with a chiropractor. And thankfully, the yoga came into my life at a time where it provided a level of relief that I forewent the spinal surgery, and feeling better than ever. Other things that were bothering me have since subsided. Problems with my shoulder, problems with my hip, and just as we kind of alluded to. You can pull up a YouTube video for various types of meditation, for anxiety, for stress, for waking up for an energetic day. You can pull up yoga videos on YouTube for free for anything. Yoga for hips, yoga for back, yoga for tired legs, yoga for sleep. So if you want to find out more, strongly encourage you to come this Friday morning, the AAF Creative Zen at General Provisions downtown location, right next to Society of Las Olas. Free event, you do have to pay, for some parking. That's downtown Fort Lauderdale life, but it will definitely be worth it. It's a great opportunity to connect, engage with your local community, get inspired. We're very glad to continue hosting it with support from the American Advertising Federation local chapter, who supports and advocates for creatives in the advertising industry, copywriters, and everybody else in between. If you'd like to find out more, there'll be people there from American Advertising Federation, so maybe you can find a whole new community to tap into. And I would just encourage you, come with an open mind, come well rested, and you never know how your life will change from a talk like this, from connecting with a beautiful soul like this. Anything else you want to let these beautiful folks know?
I just want to kind of piggyback on what you said about you thought you were grounded enough or centered enough and already doing the work, and that's amazing. And what we learned from this spiritual practice is that the universe is always expanding, and we have that limitless potential as well. So just when you thought life couldn't get better than it is, It can.
100%.
So keeping that open mind to try something new and connect with a new community is always the way to go. And I'm so grateful that you're helping create that for us, Evan. So thank you.
Amen. Definitely. Beautiful thing. Strongly encourage you to follow along. You might see me on one of the upcoming retreats. We might be making some new upcoming retreats. If you have a friend that lives in Society of Las Olas and you're able to join us for yoga, Monday night at 7 o'clock, Wednesday morning 7:30, and a monthly Sound Bowl session here. It's a great perk. Shameless free plug for Society. But no, it's really great. You never know how a little thing like some movement and stretching can really change your life, change your whole community and all that. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you have any questions, I'm Evan Snow at EvanSnow13 at Choose954, Evan at Choose954.com. We're continually looking for more people to highlight and feature on the podcast. We have a second series, audio version, on Spotify, on all the great podcast platforms that our dear friend Niall Fortner hosts, where he's interviewing more local people with thought-provoking, relatable, inspiring stories in our community. So I encourage you to check that out. And our Broward People section, hosted by Anita Mitchell, who's also bringing some very fascinating stories to the community, and that's what it's all about. So thank you guys for your time, and we actually are going to go flow right now.
We're going to go do some yoga. See you guys. Namaste.